Fasten your seatbelts, knowledge roadsters, because we're about to embark on an exhilarating journey through the lanes of learning. It's me again, Permit Quiz Liz, and today we're not just peeling through the layers of the DMV handbook, we're actually going to merge the worlds of the written permit test and the in-car license exam. That's right, my drive-minded spectators. Today your intellect meets the open road. It's the perfect blend of brain power and horsepower. We've got 30 actual DMV permit test questions that also apply to your driver's license road test. So adjust your mental mirrors, accelerate your aptitude, and let's rev up those test-passing engines. Let's get started with a few permit test questions that cover drive test concepts you need to know before you ever get moving. First question. To help you manage sun glare while driving, A. Only drive during sunrise and sunset. B. Keep the inside and outside of your windshield clean. Or C. Keep in mind that pedestrians will be easier to see. The correct answer is B. Keep the inside and outside of your windshield clean. Glare from the sun can make it hard to see while driving, and a dirty windshield only makes matters worse. So take it from me, get your windshield both inside and outside the car nice and spotless with a little glass cleaner. Your eyes and the DMV examiner will thank you. Okay, next question you might see on your permit test that'll also come in handy when you're behind the wheel. You should adjust your rear view and side mirrors, A, before you get into the car, B, before you start driving, or C, after you start driving. And the correct answer is B, before you start driving. Always double check all of your mirrors whenever you get into your car and adjust them if needed. Adjusting your mirrors after you start driving is not only dangerous, but it's also a great way for you to fail your test. Next question. You must use your seatbelt, A, if the vehicle is equipped with seatbelts, B, unless you are riding in a vehicle built before 1978, or C, unless you are riding in a limousine. The correct answer is A, if the vehicle is equipped with seatbelts. Hopefully by now you know that you should always put on your seatbelt before driving. But here's a little drive test tip. Make sure your passengers are safely buckled in too before you start moving the car. That's right, those crafty DMV examiners have been known to purposefully leave their seatbelt off when they get into your car. Show them you know your stuff by respectfully asking them to buckle up before you start the test. Nice. These next 3 permit exam questions are all about curbside parking, which is a very crucial part of your behind the wheel test. When parking next to a curb, you should use your turn signals, A, only when pulling away from the curb, B, when pulling next to but not away from the curb, or C, when pulling next to or away from the curb. The correct answer is C, when pulling next to or away from the curb. Did you know that when you are curbside parking, you are parking in a parking lane, whether it is marked or not? If you keep that in mind, then you'll never forget to use your turn signals when entering or leaving the curb, because when you do, you are technically making a lane change. And anytime you make any sort of lane change, you need to remember to smog. Signal, mirror, over the shoulder, go. So let's recap. You smog into the parking lane when curbside parking, and you smog into the driving lane when pulling away from the curb. Now you know. This next question will also come up on your drive test, because right after curbside parking, the DMV examiner will ask you to reverse along the curb. When you back up in a passenger vehicle, A, rely on your rear view mirror, B, only use your side and rear view mirrors, or C, look over your right shoulder through your rear window. The correct answer is C. Look over your right shoulder through your rear window. While you can use your mirrors to assist you when you back up, most of your vision should be directed over your right shoulder and out your back window. And don't fall in love with your backup camera either. The DMV examiner wants to test you on your ability to reverse the car in a straight line without the aid of technology. Your camera only gives you a partial view of the situation behind you, and there might come a day when your camera doesn't work. So you need to know how to back up safely the old school way, by looking over your right shoulder. And one more curbside parking question you need to memorize. When you park on a level road next to a curb, A, your wheels must be within 18 inches of the curb, B, your front wheels must be turned towards the side of the road, or C, you do not have to set your parking brake. The correct answer is A. Your wheels must be within 18 inches of the curb. When you park alongside a curb on a level street, the front and back wheels must be parallel within 18 inches of the curb. If the street you are on has a gutter, then you're usually good as long as your tires are touching the gutter line. Pro drive test tip: err on the side of being too far away from the curb rather than too close. If you are over 18 inches away from the curb, it's just 1 point off your test. However, if you hit the curb, you just struck an object, my friend, and that is an auto fail. We're already in the neighborhood, so let's continue with this gem that you should have memorized on your first day of driver's ed. Unless otherwise posted, the speed limit in a residential area is A. 20 miles per hour, B. 25 miles per hour, or C. 30 miles per hour. The correct answer is B. 25 miles per hour. According to CVC section 22352, prima facie speed limits, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour on any highway, in any business or residence district, unless a different speed is determined by local authority or the Department of Transportation under procedures set forth by this code. In other words, the speed limit in a typical residential neighborhood is 25 miles per hour. Half of your in-car test is on residential streets, so make sure you don't exceed 25 miles per hour unless posted otherwise. Keeping it residential, this next one trips up a lot of test takers, both on the permit test and the road test. You are driving and there are oncoming cars on your left and a row of parked cars on your right. You should steer A, closer to the oncoming cars than the parked cars, B, closer to the parked cars than the oncoming cars, or C, a middle course between the oncoming and parked cars. The correct answer is C, a middle course between the oncoming and parked cars. While your gut might tell you to drive closer to the parked cars than the moving oncoming cars, the correct action would be to split the difference and choose a middle course between the two obstacles. Parked cars can be unpredictable, and an unexpected door swinging open or a hidden pedestrian emerging can be just as dangerous. When the road is tight, slow down your speed a bit and steer evenly between the oncoming and parked cars. This next one is a classic and is definitely part of Driving School 101, so make sure you know it, not just for passing your DMV test, but also for real life, because this one happens a lot. You reach an intersection with stop signs on all four corners at the same time as the driver on your left. Who has the right of way? A, the driver on your left has the right of way, B, you have the right of way, or C, whoever is signaling to make a turn has the right of way. The correct answer is B, you have the right of way. When an intersection is controlled by stop signs in all directions and two vehicles arrive at the intersection at the same time, the vehicle on the right, that's us, has the right of way. While you never want to insist on your right of way, you also don't want to be overly nice for no reason and give up your right of way. Part of the art of driving is knowing the right-of-way rules and following them. When it's your turn to go, other good drivers want you to make your move and not hold things up by hesitating or not exercising your right-of-way. If it's your right-of-way and the coast is clear, then go with confidence. Drivers everywhere will thank you for it. Speaking of right-of-way rules, let's talk about the king or queen of right-of-way, the pedestrian. If a pedestrian is in a crosswalk in the middle of a block, A, the pedestrian must yield the right-of-way, B, vehicles have the right-of-way but drivers must legally take care for the pedestrian's safety, or C, the pedestrian has the right-of-way. The correct answer is C, the pedestrian has the right-of-way. When in any crosswalk, whether it is marked or not, the pedestrian has the right-of-way. While pedestrians on the roadway don't have the right-of-way outside of the crosswalk, it is still your responsibility as a driver to always exercise due care for pedestrians. In other words, just because you might have the right-of-way doesn't give you the right to run over a pedestrian who's in your way. On your DMV test or in real life, you should always yield to pedestrians because it is a safe thing to do. Whether they are walking in a marked crosswalk or not, you must always yield to them. If you are in a parking lot, yield to pedestrians. Even if a pedestrian is jaywalking in the middle of the street, you should yield to them. One more time, and please say it with me loudly and clearly, always yield to pedestrians. But technically speaking, and for your permit test, remember, in any crosswalk, the pedestrian has the right-of-way, whether marked or not. Okay, my driving friends, thank you so much for watching part 1 from Liz here at Jarvis at Direct. Please stay tuned for part 2 of this series.